going to do next is look at federated platform-based business models and how sharing costs might actually work for moving forward and developing systems. And we have Kiran Karunakaran from consultancy Bain & Company live answering your questions after the session. So please post them in the chat for him. But first, here he is in conversation with M1, discussing actually what's happening in Singapore now.
Hi, I have Manjot Singh Man with me today. Man is the CEO of a mobile operator called M1, who's a challenger operator in Singapore. We worked with Man in the early days of his role as CEO, charting out the path of transformation to build a platform-based telco. Both of us shared the hypothesis that telcos have been spectators for far, standing by the wayside, watching digital natives take a large share of the pie. And the quest that we started with Man is 2 years in, and they're still in the journey of making that transformation. So I'll take the opportunity today to talk to him about that journey. Man, maybe first, if you can just describe what the journey was and what you kind of set as success factors for that journey, that would be great.
Thanks, Kiran. No, so like you said, I think the objective was to set out a transformation roadmap for ourselves to really transform into a digital-first telco, create a platform where we really start owning the customer, not just from the perspective of having them on our network, but clearly getting more share of wallet from the customer. Because like you rightly said, I think over many decades, telcos have been investing in network and primarily getting revenues out of their voice, SMS, and data streams. And as data is getting more and more cheaper and yields are getting lower, there is a need for telcos to start redefining their business models. And I think that journey for us has just about started a couple of years back. We are in the thick of things. It's a transformation that involves technology transformation, people transformation, processes transformation, so that we are able to create a platform that first applies to ourselves to be able to provide hyper-personalized services, not just telco services, but others as well, to be able to onboard partners and products, and then be able to take that platform out in the open so that we then start creating a business model for platform as a service. So that's really the roadmap that we have. That's primarily one of the parts of the roadmap that we have, but that's the real meat.
Absolutely. And where do you see the sources of value are for a business model like that, where you're federating a platform, and how do you think about the monetization of that platform?
So, Kiran, as you would know, the monetization of our own data, which we've collected for many decades now, has been pretty much in terms of how we've anonymized that data and sold that data. I mean, in many ways, right? But I think the challenge is that while, like you rightly said, digital natives have created that ecosystem around our so-called pipes, I think the opportunity rests with ourselves to be able to monetize that data, because that's our real asset. I think gone are the days when telcos should be looking at the physical assets as being the assets, because everybody is looking at asset monetization, asset light models. So what is the real asset sitting with us? The real asset is the data of our customers that's sitting with us, and for many years we've been seeing their usage and their patterns. So we are actually sitting on a gold mine of data. It's just that how do we monetize it and how do we create value out of it? Whether it is in terms of customer lifetime value that we create out of it, or stickiness in terms of increasing our tenure of the customers, or increasing our ARPU, or at least holding ARPU if not increasing them. I think those are the real indicators that we really need to work towards while we get onto this digital journey, because ultimately the means to an end, right? I mean, transformation is not an end in itself, but really what you get out of it at the end of transformation is something that's
absolutely. And just picking on what you said, right? Delivering that hyper personal experience, an experience that the customer has come to expect from the digital natives, is challenging for a telco to offer, right? for many reasons. But one of the key inhibitors has been the legacy IT and the technology stacks that. So while the transformation is a transformation of the business model, the constraint oftentimes is the technology stack. So how have you gone about thinking about making this stack agile, scalable, data centric, and modular?
So we actually moved from a very modular, good old technology, IT technology stack, which was customized to telco services, to a cloud native platform. We've created a best of breed platform. We were about 12% in cloud when we started our journey. We are about 90% in cloud as we speak. We had close to about 200 applications in our old IT stack. We have about 30 applications in our new platform. We had more than 200 databases, sitting in different pockets in the IT stack. We have now one data lake, which we have in our new platform. So all this is to basically simplify the way we first analyze the data, get actionable insights on them, and because of our platform the way it is designed, to be able to contextualize services and deliver those services real time to customers. So I think the challenge is that how do you build that ecosystem of services, and then how do you make sure that you are able to create that machine behind it so that you are able to create personalized services. But Kiran, that is, technology is one part, and a lot of our time in the last 1.5 years has gone into creating that technology platform, because that is really the start.
Correct.
But I think the bigger challenge is also going to be in terms of people and skills, because telcos have always operated in a classic waterfall methodologies. Now to move from a waterfall methodology to agile ways of working, where the whole organizational structures, the roles and responsibilities, the skill sets, the competencies, everything has to be mapped out to be able to work with this new platform. Because you can create the best Ferrari car, but if you don't have a great driver to drive it, then it's worthless. So for us, the bigger challenge, once we've done the technology piece, which is of course very very important, and that's what we've been doing for the last 1.5 years, we are now embarking on a journey of how do we make our people agile, how do we make our processes agile, so that we are able to deliver the best value from the platform that we are creating. But yeah, to your question, I think the focus for the last 1.5 years has been to transform from an old, like I said, telco customized IT stack to a more best of breed cloud native platform.
Exactly right. And once you've done that, once you've done the tech transformation, once you've started putting in place the people transformation, the customers will start seeing the impact of this change, right? Do you believe that a telco customer has expectations that are comparable to what the digital native experiences are, or is that something that is not something that a telco customer expects at all in the first case?
You know, every customer in the world is getting more and more digital in nature, and the pandemic has actually made that happen faster. It's accelerated that whole change. I don't think it's right to assume that the customers don't expect telcos to be digital. It's just that we have never demonstrated that quality of ours.
Right.
And I think with this platform, if we are able to, so just to give a small example, this technology transformation that we've done, we have personalized simple things like a plan, right? I mean, in Singapore, if you look at our competitors, they would give you a menu card of a plan and say, take it or leave it. It's a one size fits all model. Whereas what we have done has, we personalized the plans with a swipe of a finger. You can technically share permutations and combinations. You can create 6 million plans, which means that every citizen in Singapore can have a plan customized to that person. Now that's theoretical. However, that's the nature of transformation. That's the crux of the transformation. That once you are able to create this platform, and this is just telecom products we are speaking as of now. Now imagine if you start adding other services like content, gaming, e-commerce, travel services, fintech services. It what you are really creating is a hyper personalized service of for the wallet of the customer, not just for telecom services. And that's really That's really the roadmap.
No, absolutely, and I completely see the vision, right? Because to a customer, the service that they're consuming is not just communication, right? It's the entire basket of utilities that they, whether it's video, whether it's messaging, whether it's e-commerce, and so on. So a seamless way, and as you described it, if you can get to a point where you can actually hyper personalize the service based on an understanding of that customer's utility basket, much better than sometimes that customer appreciates themselves, in a way that gives them a superior experience at a higher value proposition. Well, that's a skill. I mean, that's the holy grail that we're all in the quest of. Um,
Absolutely, because ultimately that's where the value sits.
absolutely.
Because clearly, as we all know, yields are going down, ARPUs are under pressure. How does a telco survive in the new age? How do you create an asset light, data heavy, data monetizable business model? And the only way to do it is to get into a platform play and onboard services, onboard products, and be able to deliver it real time contextually to customers, which is hyper personalized in their behavior and their usage, so that you gain relevance. And with that, you increase your customer lifetime value, and that's the name of the game, really.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the role for third party partners and providers, right? How do you describe those third party providers' role in helping you achieve the objective that you're trying to achieve? So, who would be these partners? What is the role that these third party providers would play?
So I assume you mean the service providers,
Correct.
the product and
Exactly.
services that we plan to onboard.
The
Well,
verticals and
look
the
at
ecosystem that you build.
yeah, look at the end of the day, we have in Singapore close to 2.5 million subscribers. Now that's a captive, within inverted commas, that's a captive base that sits with us.
Yes.
Now, that is something that we can offer to multitude of services who are actually trying to find customers for their products and services. For us, it's a sitting duck, so to say, right? I mean, it's something that people can actually come on board and have a customer base from day one for them to explore and be able to sell to them. So we bring our database, they bring their products and services, we then find a mechanism of delivering it, and then integrating it with our telecom services, and then creating products for our customers. So it's a win-win for all.
So, it's a
Now,
two sided model, really.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, we are doing something on gaming, for example. Now, there are various ways people can game today, in terms of whether you're a hardcore gamer or a casual gamer or a cloud gamer or not a cloud gamer, console gamer, mobile gamer. I mean, there are multiple ways to game. But the reality is that we have significant amount of gamers in our base. So there is an opportunity now to create that, uh, um, you know, sort of called connection between the gaming platforms and the gamers, and we being the conduit where we
Yeah.
understand the gaming behavior of our base, and how do you then create that product to deliver it to our base. So there are very interesting dialogues that we are having with many service providers, whether it's the content side of the business or, like I said, gaming, or even financial services, travel services. Of course, travel is at this point in time not the best service to
Yeah.
have because of the reasons we all know. But eventually, things are going to get normal, and therefore there is an opportunity of really creating that partnership roadmap, and building that for our
Absolutely right.
base.
What is the end game, man? When would you consider this transformation journey complete?
Well, the honest answer is never, Kiran, because transformation. No, really, because transformation is something that's going to. That's the mantra for the future. You can't sit tight on a business model and expect it to run forever. I mean, those days are gone. It's a continuous disruption that you have to manage. It's a continuous change that you have to manage. However, there are benchmarks that we've set for ourselves, that in the next 3 years, where do we want to be? We've also started thinking of 3 to 5 years from now, or 5 to 10 years from now, where do we want to be? So, like I told you, one of the things that we are now exploring is, and started talking about, is how does this platform extend beyond the use for only for our services? How does this platform
Absolutely.
extend beyond being used only for M1? And is there an opportunity, because everybody wants to digitalize, everybody is going to go for the digital customers. Some have the strength to create that platform and create that ecosystem with people, processes to be able to manage it. Some don't. So there is an opportunity for us to see how do we take this platform beyond the use for M1 and possibly beyond the shores of Singapore, and see what we can do for people, for businesses that are seeking to go digital, but don't know where to start. So I think that's an opportunity we will present to our own business going forward. So to your question, when does this transformation end? I think transformation will keep getting a new form, but will it ever end? I doubt seriously.
I mean, it's been fascinating talking to you, man. I'm conscious we're out of time, but just the vision for you as a telco operator who traditionally hasn't been, the sector has not been the one to embrace this kind of change, to actually transform your business to say we're not just going to be spectators, we're actually going to have a role in shaping the ecosystem and moving our business from a network centric model, opening the aperture and actually saying we want to have a say in the platform ecosystem that gives you scalability, not just in your market, not just in your industry, across the board, is a vision that's definitely worth aspiring for. And we thank you for letting Bain play a small role in that transformation.
No,
It's been great talking to you, man.
thank you very
Appreciate
much, Kiran, and thank you for being a part of the journey. Really appreciate it. Take care.
it. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye bye.